Right, good morning. I think we'll get going now. Just so everyone knows, this meeting is being recorded. And I'm really pleased to welcome back the team from Sign Together for your second BSL Week workshop. I'll hand straight over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Izzy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Hopefully you've
We'll
got
take
you
that
going.
Good. Yeah.
Excellent. Okie dokie. Right, so what are we covering today? So yesterday, for any of you who weren't here, we talked about that it's Happy Sign Language Week. So we've got a mission for you this week. So how do you sign Happy Sign Language Week? The sign for happy.
Happy.
Sign Language Week. I want everybody, if you can, to sign that Happy Sign Language Week. Now, what I'd like you to do for the rest of the week, if you see any teachers in and around the school, particularly those that weren't in on the lessons today and yesterday, if they weren't, is to sign that to them and see if they can work out what you've signed. Okay, Happy Sign Language Week. That's your mission for the rest of the week.
Fantastic. So yesterday we had a look at what is BSL, what is it like to have hearing impairment, and why we use gestures. And we finished off by looking at the fingerspelling alphabet. So today we'd like to look at what problems might a deaf person face and how can you help. So let's learn the sign for help first. That's quite useful. So this is a sign for help, big thumbs up on top of an open palm. Now, if you want to offer someone help, what you would do is you would push that towards them. Help you. If you need help, bring it towards yourself. Help me. So let's have a go at that. So what problems might a deaf person face and how can you help? I'll give you a minute to think about that one. Well, we've got a few slides here to help you out and help you to think about this. So let me share the screen. Yeah.
It's important to recognise as we're going through these, some of you might think these are obvious, and in some ways they are obvious, but you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how when we're into life and what's going on that it's forgotten about.
So you mean the top 10 that's coming out, don't we?
Yeah.
So we'll start with these just to prompt some ideas. So what could the problem be in this scene? Have a look at this picture and imagine that any of these children or staff members have hearing impairment. So you may have pointed out that some of these children here have their backs to the tutors. You're in a long row, so this child on the ends might struggle to lip read or see what the people over here are saying. And it's not the ideal setup. What about this one? Do you think there's a problem here?
Now let's imagine there's someone behind these people. Let's imagine I'm behind these people just for a moment. What might the issue be? Okay, so the problem is with how sound travels. So if someone with hearing loss or myself was behind these people and they were talking, the sound is heading away from me. However, that sound cannot travel anywhere but be absorbed by the trees or the environment. So the sound is not making its way back. So I don't have the visual aid of lip reading and the sound is not traveling. So actually, this is a deaf person's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
It really is. It's impossible.
And even if you were one of those two people, it's actually more difficult to hear with hearing aids and understand from a sideways angle. Because if you think about it, lip reading, looking at gesture, looking at facial expressions, that's all missing. So you may have to stop or keep checking and keep moving your body towards that person for them to understand. So this one's quite a positive one. Just take a few seconds to think, why is this better? What are these people doing which is quite good? So you may have said things like they have a visual aid. The gentleman is pointing to a map. So that's a very good thing to do. Writing something down, pointing to your phone, a diagram, using some kind of visual to help people out. Also, they can easily see each other's faces from there. They wouldn't need to move very much to see each other. And lip reading would be much easier from this position. So this is good. Have a look at this one. What do you think here?
Okay, well, this one's pretty good. This one's pretty good. So if you have a circular table or a circular environment where lots of people are talking, generally, a bit like the last post, most people can turn their head enough and able to read sign language, read lips, and potentially hear. And bearing in mind, this is a fairly small room by the look of it, I would guess, anyway, and the sound can travel off of the walls. So actually, pretty good. Pretty good one.
Yeah, and this could be something to take on board when you're doing group work or when you're in classrooms, using that classic circle. One of the big problems that I know you face, Richard, is when you're in a group setting, realizing someone else has started talking. So you would be looking for the body language, the visual cue to see that someone else's mouth has started moving and see where people's attention has gone to. And so you might only realize halfway through a sentence or a few sentences in even that the focus has shifted to another person and the person's now talking. That's very hard for you to keep track of the conversation.
Or catch up. Yeah, so you're already a sentence and a half behind sometimes. And you've lost the context, and then it's quite easy to feel like you're not involved in that conversation.
Yeah. So if you're in group work, and especially if you're leading that group, checking in with people, making sure everyone's understood, repeating what someone said. If you think maybe they're sat in a way where somebody couldn't lip read them or haven't realised, it's a really, really kind thing to do. So what can we learn from these pictures? Well, we've narrowed it down to 10 different ways to help people out with hearing loss. Number one is to get my attention. Similar to what we've just said, one of the biggest things that I've learned from living and working with a deaf person is that if you don't get someone's attention first, not only are they trying to understand based on half the information, but also they might not get half of that information. If you remember the video that we watched yesterday, it's like jigsaw pieces. You may only hear certain sounds, certain words of a sentence anyway. So if you come in halfway through and you've only got bits and pieces of what's being said, it's incredibly hard to piece that information together. How can you get attention? I'm going to stop sharing here for a sec, actually, and we'll talk through these. So how can you get someone's attention? Have a think about that. Well, the first one could be literally a wave. It's not rude to wave, as long as your gesture and your facial expression is nice and positive, absolutely fine. A little tap on the shoulder or the arm's fine, or even just making your presence known, aware of them, just moving into their space. So there's that visual cue to look up at somebody. Let's move on to the next one.
Give me quiet. Now, if you're in a busy environment and you can get to a quieter room or quieter space, this is a very good idea. Because not only does it make hearing or the person trying to hear you easier, it can also reduce the noise in the room, which sometimes can be a bit overwhelming when someone's trying really, really hard to understand and keep up with the conversation. So a quieter space, if and where possible.
Yeah, and I don't know if we mentioned yesterday about hearing aids, but hearing aids equalize most sounds and will pick out a dominant sound. So if there is someone walking down the school corridor or they're at dinner time, or when you're out and about who has a very loud voice and is laughing loudly or having fun, maybe that's all the person with the hearing aids can hear. So think about that. We often have this problem if we're in a cafe or a restaurant, that actually it's much easier to switch into sign because another voice is dominating.
Or a coffee machine, which is
Machine.
so dominating.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Awful. Okay.
Okay.
To discuss this one?
Yeah. Hearing loss is very tiring. Now, why? It's the pure concentration. You're trying so hard to A, catch up, B, listen, C, the concentration involved is really, really, really difficult. So if I'm spending a day in, let's say I'm in meetings all day and I've got an area that isn't very inclusive, I really just got to try my best. It's going to be... Oh.
I'm very sorry to interrupt, but we've lost your slides. Would you mind resharing them?
Oh, it's okay. We were just talking through without the slides, just as prompts, because we thought actually it might be more interesting to see us.
Fine, as long as you're happy, just checking.
Yeah,
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I turned them off, don't we?
Okie dokie. Yeah, so what was I saying? So the pure concentration and brain power it takes in order to try and listen, understand, decipher, catch up is absolutely exhausting. And if there's anyone listening now with hearing loss or wears hearing aids, I'm sure that right now they're going, yes, 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 absolutely. It's very, very tiring.
Okay, yeah, we can share again for these ones. Another one here is don't laugh at me if I don't understand. Now you may be thinking I would never do that. That's awful. Why would I do that? But it's surprising how often people who don't understand the situation think it's kind of funny, or there's some comedy in someone being a little bit lost, a little bit confused, and often they don't realise that a person has hearing loss. You experienced this recently, didn't you, Rich?
Yeah. Very briefly, I was in my local supermarket last week, and a till was closing, and the cashier said, "Try to express to me, we're closed. Can you go to the next till?" And I didn't understand. So after trying to understand, a customer interjected and said, and pointed to something, which actually to begin with was good. He pointed to something, so I understood it was closed. However, once I got the message and I moved on, I saw both the staff and the customer laughing repeatedly.
Yeah, having a little chuckle because she got confused and didn't know what was going on. And when that happens to you regularly, it's quite disempowering, isn't it? You know, you kind of lose a bit of confidence. So if someone's confused, be patient and kind, which moves us on to this one. It's very common for anybody with hearing impairment to hear the terms, "Oh, it doesn't matter." What's wrong with that? What's wrong with if you've tried to communicate something 2 or 3 times and they don't understand? What's wrong with somebody saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter"? Have a think. So your answers might be things like, it's quite dismissive. It's like saying that person doesn't matter or you don't have time to them. And even though we understand, you can feel put on the spot sometimes when you haven't been understood. It's also very difficult for that person because they're missing out on information anyway. And if they've requested, "Oh, could you please say that again?" Even worse, that person said, "Actually, I don't have time to explain again." So just be patient, repeat, take the time, be kind and friendly, and it goes a very long way to helping people feel included and that you have time for them.
Okay, speak clearly and slowly. Again, it might sound obvious. However, sometimes it's slightly misunderstood. So what do we mean exactly? Speak clearly and slowly. Slow down, particularly if you have a quick speaking voice. Anyway, you talk quick, or if you have a strong accent, just slow down. That will help be much clearer. However, sometimes what happens is, say for example, I am going to talk like this. I'm really over exaggerating my lip pattern. Now, Now, you might think that's helpful. However, for someone who's lip reading, they are looking for the visual cues when they're lip reading that would mimic a natural, normal looking mouth, as if someone were talking. So if it's exaggerated, it doesn't mimic it, which can cause quite a bit of confusion.
Shall we show that? Is that worth showing?
Yeah.
What it might look like? Okay, let's just stop the share for a second. So speak clearly and slowly. Let's look at that with a normal lip pattern and then with an exaggerated lip pattern.
I'll do that again. But quite often, this is what happens. And you see how my lips are really, really exaggerated and really over the top now. So it doesn't mimic a normal lip pattern.
It doesn't look
very,
like
very
real
confusing.
speech anymore, which actually makes it harder.
Yeah.
So this is what you can do. Just go back. So what you can do is repeat and rephrase. So the better thing, if somebody is struggling, is actually just to repeat with less words. So rather than be more clear or be very, very slow, use less words and think of a way to rephrase it. Quite often the problem is too many words actually, and just simplicity is very, very useful. And then the final one, and I'll let Richard talk about this, is start over if I look confused.
Yeah. So this is one we use quite a lot, isn't it? So if I look confused, or something I call the deaf nod, and whenever I mentioned it, I think it's something I've made up, but a lot of deaf people go, oh yeah, I know what you mean. If you're talking to me, anyone's talking to me, and I ain't got a clue, I would go,
nod and smile. Polite nod and smile.
Yeah, because a lot of the time when we're asking again and again and again what's being said, it gets a bit embarrassing. So if a deaf person's looking a bit confused, then start again, rephrase it, as we mentioned, but slow down, start again, and give that person time to kind of think about what it sounded like, because they kind of know, they have a sound in their head and trying to work out what it might be if it sounds like X, and then start again and give them an opportunity to catch up and work it out.
And I'll show you a really useful sign for that one, and that is this. So if you see someone's looking confused, you can just go, and this is the sign for again. I'll show you that from the side. Again, start over. The best thing to do if you've lost somebody and they look confused. Okay, so those are the top 10 tips that we had. We have a little bit of time left, so we thought it would be quite good to do a few greetings with you and teach you some signs so you can help someone who's deaf or hearing impairment feel welcome.
Okay, so the first one we've shown you already today. Can anyone remember, hello, how are you?
Ooh.
Hello, how are you? If you can remember it, sign it now. Okay, so hello, it's really simple. Hello, that's it. And the same as goodbye as well. Hello, goodbye, that's it. Okay, so hello, how are you? Right at the start of the lesson, we did this sign. But what am I doing exactly? So flat hands like this. What I'm doing is I'm stroking my shoulder, giving you thumbs up. How are you? How are you? So again, if you see any deaf students in and around the school, or anyone who's non-verbal that does use sign, feel free to go, hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? You'll probably find that person will be extremely grateful and quite surprised. So do try that. Hello, how are you?
And notice when we're signing these words, we're also saying the word silently. That's just as important. Hello, how are you? Lip reading is half of any sign language, so do make sure you say the words silently at the same time.
Okay, next one. You, deaf, hard of hearing, etc. So first of all, let's address the obvious thing. You, deaf. Yes, I'm pointing to you and I'm saying you, deaf. It might sound rude, but it's not. It's normal language for BSL. You, me, and my. Okay, so it's quite normal to point to people and say, you like sausages or whatever it might be, whatever line might be. So you, deaf. You, deaf. So 2 fingers like this onto one, your dominant side for your right-handed onto your right ear. You, deaf. Hard of hearing, H, H. You remember the alphabet from yesterday? H, H. Or hearing, 1 finger, hearing. Okay, so I would guess the majority of you, as far as you're aware, you have pretty good hearing. Okay, so most of you would probably identify yourself as being a hearing person. Hearing. Okay. However, if you do a little bit of sign and a sign now comes up to you, they might say to you, you deaf, hearing, which one of those 2 are you? Okay, and then you can answer me hearing, or me deaf, or me hard of hearing.
And you may even say me learning. So take your hands like this and put the information into your head. Learning sign. Me learning sign.
Okay, and let's see if you can remember the phrase Happy Sign Language Week. Again, we showed you right at the start.
You might be able to see.
Sorry about my dog whining. She can't go to bed.
She's very cute. She wants a breakfast.
Happy Sign Language Week. So happy Sign Language Week. Happy Sign Language Week. Okay, great.
Fantastic.
Can we try name?
Yeah, let's
put the alphabet back
let's
up.
put the alphabet back up and do a name. Should we go through the alphabet briefly, or should we just share the slide?
Yeah, we go through it quite quickly. Can they see if they can see the slide?
I don't think they can see us if they see the slide though.
Oh yeah, good point.
So if
Yeah,
we demo it first.
Okay, so dominant hand, A. B. C. D. E. F. G. H. I. Draw the J. J. K, like this. L. M. N. O, like this. O. P. Q. R, pointing towards you. S. T. U. B. W. X. Y. And Z. Okay, we only have a couple minutes more, but what we'd like you to try now is hello, me, name, what? Hello, me, name, what? So everybody, if you can, hello, me, name, and then finger spell your name. So we're going to put up the slide for the alphabet to remind you. Present that slide, and then just for a minute or two, get you to practice that before we wind things down.
Wrap it.
Okay.
Hello, me, name, what?
For a moment.
Finger spell your name.
Are you aware you're on mute? Sorry.
Sorry.
I thought you said we were unmuted, sorry. Yeah, so hopefully you can now sign your name. So me, name, what? You can say hello and some general greetings, and you have a few ideas how to be more inclusive. So we do need to wrap it up there. We are sending along a schools pack with this talk, so you can have lots of resources, posters for the classroom, that kind of thing. But thank you, everybody, for having us. And happy
Thank
Sign Language
you.
Week.
So firstly, thank you so much to both of you. I wasn't in yesterday, but I'm told yesterday's assembly was amazing, and that was certainly amazing and very informative. So thank you. Before we wrap up, I have a few quick notices for the students. Today is also World Happiness Day. So there is a whiteboard outside mine, Mr. Shepherd and Mrs. Gossell's office. If you would like to write a message about something that makes you happy, please do. But I would rather that you kept that really, really sensible. So reflect carefully before you write anything. Secondly, a reminder that on Friday is our fundraising day for British Sign Language awareness. So we're doing 2 activities. The first one is a bake sale that's being organised by the head student team. But if you would like to bring in any cakes or baked goods, please speak to them. And secondly, there is a sixth form only non-uniform day. A reminder that you're allowed to wear casual clothes rather than business wear, but you must dress appropriately for school. So if you wear a very short skirt or a crop top or very short shorts or something, you will have to go home and change. So please be mindful of that. A big thank you to everybody who was involved with the holiday celebration yesterday. That was amazing. The canvas, once it's dry, is being put up in the canteen. And finally, after the holiday, the head student team are going to be hosting a Vaisakhi celebration, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, another Sikh festival. And the information about that will be shared straight after Easter. So finally, one more thank you to our colleagues who have run the assembly today, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Stay on.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, cool.